Some substructure works can involve columns and bases, and some of the substructure works can just have the normal foundation, that is the trenches. So on today's tutorial, you want to look at substructure works which has columns and bases. And if you can look at the drawing that we have quite a number of columns in this plan. So I want to look at how we are going to take off those quantities, and then we look at the whole taking off of the substructure works that is involved in this plan. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Kristen. You know how we do it here. Kindly subscribe, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. Now let's go through the plan that we have. As you can see, we have the plan. We have section AA, and then we have the plan itself. So on our section AA, this is where we have cut the section, as you can see here. So you can see we have the base, we have the column. So these are our columns. These are our columns. These ones are our columns. They are 12 in numbers. And then we have the bases that are used to receive the columns. And then we have the concrete for the base. We have the column. Now if you look at this section here, this is the column, and in between the column it's this wall. In between this column we have a wall, and then you can look at the internal partitioning wall. We have one that has a foundation, and we have one that does not have a foundation. So one that has a foundation is this one, and then this one does not have a foundation. And then we have the hardy core, we have the mallam grinding, and then we have the concrete slab, 125 millimeter slab. The external wall is 200 millimeters. The internal wall, the partitioning wall with a foundation, is 200 millimeters. Also, the wall without a foundation is 100 millimeters stone wall. Now, the thickness of our trench is 800 millimeters. And then our columns, we've been given some notes here. Depth of column is the same. Depth of strip foundation along external perimeter is the same. And then we have the column bases are 1500 by 1500 by 300 millimeters. And then we have 200 vegetable stick soil to be preserved on site. Rock commences 1200 millimeters below ground level, and then we have been told to ignore reinforcement in columns and bases. So we also have an extra over for rock excavation. Now we are going to proceed and clear the site, because we have been told 200 millimeters thick vegetable soil to be preserved on site. So we shall proceed and clear the site. Before we clear the site, let's list the items that you are going to measure. We have site clearance, top vegetable soil. We have site clearance, top vegetable soil, and then we have excavation for pits. So all those items that we need to measure. Now let's start with site clearance. We are going to clear the site. We need the length, and we also need the width. So we are clearing the site from this point here. For the width, from that point up to this point, sorry, for the length. And then for the width, we are clearing from this side upwards up to that point, so from this side down here. Now our length, we add the length from this point here. If you look at where our length starts, it's in between half the width of the column. So we have an extra 100 this side and an extra 100 this side that is not been included. So we are going to take this measurement from this point up to this point. That is giving us 14,800. And then for the width, we are going to take from this point, up to that point, it's giving us 11,200. And then we add the extra 100. Remember, we said the measurement starts from this point, so we have this 100, this one here, up to this point, and the same as the other side. So we are going to take that one, and then we are going to add the projection of the column. So the width of the column on this side, we have 1300 on one side. Sorry, we are going to divide by 1300 by 2. So we get 750. So from this point up to this point is 750, and from this point up to this point is 750. But we are not going to include this side because we have already taken the measurement. So we only need this 750. Sorry, yeah, 750 and this 750. So we add that one. It gives us 16,100 and 12,700. So we book that one 16.10 and 12.70, and then we clear the site of all bushes, shrubs, small trees, and uproot the undergrowth and burn the rising. And then the same measurement is where we are going to excavate top vegetable soil, starting from ground level, average depth 200 millimeters, and then we've been told we need to preserve it on site. Now let's calculate the reduced level. We also need to excavate reduced level. When we are talking about reduced level, it's from this point up to this point. After we've taken the 200 for topsoil, let's say our 200 is up to that point. So we need the measurement from this point up to the bed of the article. Now, our length and width remain the same as for site clearing. So the depth will be the depth of article plus the maram plus the slab. So our article is 320, our maram bed is 40, this one, and then our slab here is 125. So we add that one, and then we subtract the 200 vegetable soil that we had excavated from ground level. Remember, we have taken off we have excavated 200 millimeter vegetable soil up to this point. So what remains, sorry, we are up to this point. So we first subtract the 200 for us to get to the ground level, and then we subtract the 200 vegetable soil. So what remains will be 85 millimeters. So that will be our reduced level. So the same measurement that we had, we excavate top vegetable topsoil, starting from stripped level, average depth 85 millimeters. So from stripped level, we are going to excavate an extra 85 millimeters. Now let's proceed to the next item, and then we are going to deduct, we had a void of 3.30 and 5.40, detail the last three items. Because where we had a void, we don't need to do excavation. This is where we had the void here. So that void is, we need to deduct it. Now we proceed to pit excavation. We need to excavate the pits. Yes, we need to excavate the pits. So let's get the depth. The pits will be the same size as the size of the column base, that is 150 by 150. So we need to get the depth of excavation. So we are excavating from the top of the ground level here. So we need to add this one. This is 1650 plus 350 plus 50. That gives us 2050. 2050, we subtract, we had already excavated 200 for vegetable soil up to that point, and then 85 up to that point for reduced level. So we subtract 200 and then we subtract 85. That is going to give us 1.1765. So remember, we do excavation in stages. So we are going to book this in 2 stages. The first stage is 1500 millimeters. And then the second stage is what remains, that is 265. And then remember, our pits are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we multiply here by 12. Yes, and then we excavate pits to receive the columns starting from reduced level, depth not exceeding 1.5. And then what remains, say detail, but depth exceeding 1.5 but not exceeding 3.0 meters. And then we backfill. So this one is also by 12. Yes. Now, once we've excavated the pits, let's proceed to the next thing. Now we are going to do trench excavation. So let's find the length and the width. So for the length of the trench that we are going to excavate, for the length, we need the length from this point, from here. Remember, we have excavated these bases. This one here is excavated, and this one here has been has been dug. So we need from this point here up to that point. That is what is left for excavation. Now we have 5,000 and then we subtract from this point up to this point is 750, and then from this point up to this point is 750. So we subtract 1300 and then that gives us 3700. Now that 700 is how many? 1, we have 2, 3, and then we have 4. So that is by 4. And then we go to the next one. We have the next one is this one, 5800, no, not that one, and this one 4800, and then we are going to subtract 750 and 750, that is 1300. It's going to give us that 500. So they are how many? They are 1 and they are 2. So that is by 2. And then we go to the next one is 5400, and then we subtract 1300 and 750 and 750 this side. That is going to give us 4100, and then they are how many? They are 1. So that one is giving us. Now let's go to the 58 by 750, that is 1300 is going to give us 45. So they are how many? 1 and then 2. And then we go to the next one, 5400. We subtract that one, they are going to give us 4100, and then they are 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the depth, and then let's find, those are the lengths, and then let's find the depth. We have 1650. So we are excavating from here up to down, that was 2050, and then we subtract the 200 that has already been excavated and the 85. So that is giving us 17,650. So let's book that one. We are booking it in stages. So the first stage is 3.7 by the width of excavation is 800 millimeters, and then by 1.5. The next one is 3.5 by 0.8 by 1.5. The other one is 4.10 by 0.80 by 1.5 by 4. And then we have 4.50 by 0.80 by 1.50 by 2. And then the internal one, it has a length of 4500, that is 5800 minus 1300. And then the depth of the internal one will be from this point, from ground level here up to here. So we have 1650 as our total depth from here up to here. That is from here, yes, up to down. We subtract 175, that one. So from this point upwards, yes, we have 1650 minus 175. And then we are going to subtract the ground vegetable soil 200 and also the 85 reduced level. That's going to give us 1190. So that is 1.19. So this is the internal one. So we excavate trenches to receive foundation starting from reduced level, average depth not exceeding 1.50 meters. And then we book for what remains 1500 minus 1765 is, we are left with 0.27. So we book the second stage. So that is 3.70, 0.80 by 0.27, and then 3.50, 0.80, 0.27, 4.10, 0.80, 0.27 by 4, 4.50, 0.80, 0.27 by 2. Let's say detail exceeding 1.5 meters but not exceeding 3.0 meter, and then we backfill. Now that is the excavation. Now let's go to rock excavation. We've been told rock commences 1200 millimeters below ground level. We have our rock that is commencing there. So what we do, we find the total depth. The total depth from here up to down here is 2050, and then we subtract the rock. So we'll find that our rock is from the ground level, our rock is at 850 millimeters. And then for the internal wall, because the rock is also there, because our depth is exceeding 1200, we are going to find the depth, that is 1650 minus 175. So from here up to the ground level is 1475, and then we subtract 1200, that is going to give us 275. So we book that one. This is for in the columns. 1.5 by 1.5 by 0.8 was the size of the column. And then we book the trenches. We had the length as we had calculated them earlier. 3.70 by 0.8 by 0.85. 3.5 by 0.80 by 0.85, 4.10 by 0.8 by 0.85, 4.50 by 0.80 by 0.85, 0.4, this is now for the internal, by 0.8 by 0.28. And then we say extra over for rock excavation in normal soils. Now let's proceed. Item, we allow for necessary planking and stuttering, and then upper sand, the watering. Let's go to the concrete blinding that is in the column bases. So our column bases are size 1500 by 1500, and they are 12. And then we say 50 millimeters plain concrete in 1:4:8 blinding to receive the column bases. And then we go to this reinforced concrete here. It's still in the base. So we are taking the length, the size is 1500 by 1500, and then the depth is 0.35, and then we say VRC in 1:2:4 in the bases. Now let's book concrete in the columns. Now that we have booked concrete in the bases, so our thickness, our column size was 200 by 200. It's the same as the wall. And then our depth of the concrete, our depth of the column will be from this point here, because it's going to flush with the slab up to there. So we have from here up to down here is 1650. So we need to add this portion here, which will be 200 minus 125. That gives us 75. So we are going to add 75 to 1650. That is going to give us 1.73. So we book that one 0.2, 0.2 by 1.73 by 12, and then we say data, but in the columns. Now let's put concrete in the trenches here. So our trench, we have put concrete up to this point. So we only need concrete from this point up to the trench. Yeah, so we take the length, the measurement for excavation. Where we had excavated is where we are putting our concrete, because the other part, if we had our column base like that, and then this is our trench, and then this is our column base. Now this part here, we had our measurement from here up to here, that one. So this part here, this has already been concreted, has already been taken by the bases. Now let's use the measurement of excavation, and then the depth of the trench is 800, the width is 800, the depth is 200. So 3.70 by 0.80 by 0.20 by 4, 3.50 by 0.8 by 0.2 by 2, 4.10 by 0.8 by 0.2 by 4, 4.50 by 0.8 by 0.2 by 2, and then we have the last one, 4.5 by 4.5 by 0.8 by 0.2, and then we say 1:3 VRC concrete in the foundation trenches. Now let's do walling. For walling, we are now going to put our wall here from this point up to this point. So what we less is only 200. So 100 here, and 100 and 100 here, for us to get from this point here up to that point. So we less 100 for the walls, and then we are going to get our measurement. So the first one will be 4.8 by the height. The height is the same height of the column, 1.73. So these ones are for 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have 4.6, that is 48 by, we less 200, and then there are 2. So that is 4.6 by 1.73. And then we have 58, that is 56 by 1.73. 56, there are how many? There are they are 2, and then we have 52, they are 4 by 1.73, and then we have this 56 which does not have which is alone, and then 1.73, and then you say 200 millimeter thick stone wall laid and embedded in 1:3 CS mortar. And then we book the 100 one, 56 by, the depth is going to be 1.35 ditto by 100 millimeter thick wall. Now we proceed to hardcore. So we are going to find the hardcore. Hardcore is placed here. So we are going to divide this section into A, C, and B. Let's just name them like that. And then A is going to be from here up to here. So we are going to have 50. We are going to have 54 plus 58, and then we less 200. So that's going to give us 11,000. And then we are going to have 5,000, we less 200, that is going to give us 4,800. And then this side is 4,800. So we need from this point here up to this point here, we are going to less 200, that gives us 46. And then 58 is going to give us 56. And then the C one is the B, the last one is going to be the same as the first one. So we book that one. The depth of article was 320 millimeters. So we have 4.80, 11.00 by 0.28 by 2. This one and this one. And then 4.6 by 5.6 by 0.32. There's a hand packed quarry stone filling done in layers. And then we go to the maram blinding. So maram has the same measurement as hardcore. So we only book the length and with it, and then we mention the depth. So we book the length 4.80 by 11.00 by 2, 4.60 by 5.6, and then we say 40 millimeters maram blinding. So guys, we shall proceed from there in our second video so that we complete on the formwork, on the slab, and on soil adjustment. So thank you for your time. Until next time, bye bye.